Hey everyone, welcome to the show, episode 39, GWS Draft Chats. So we're going to talk about the Greater Western Sydney team today. One of the expansion teams. One of the teams that has a bit of concessions in the academies and their picks. And as I touched on the last podcast a bit with Gold Coast, these two new teams, unfortunately don't have the luxury of having father-son yet. To down the track, and they've been given concessions. So this draft wasn't so much as what the Gold Coast received in concessions and what they were looking for through the academies and etc. But just wanted to add that in. Things will change eventually. But that's just the talk about that. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about the players they got in this year's draft. So let's have a look. We're looking at pick 15, Oscar Taylor. Pick 51, Finn Davis. Pick 59, the package, Drake Stringer. And in the rookie draft, they relisted Connor Stone and also have Riley Hamilton as a Category B rookie. So let's talk about the first player they got, Oscar Taylor. So pick 15, quite a high pick. So Oscar Taylor is a defender, standing at 182 centimetres. So he's a half-back, obviously, at that height. He's a daring defensive distributor who takes on the game with his raw speed and slick foot skills. So quite a start there. The term with Oscar Allen is to go hand in hand with an outstanding Coates Talent League campaign. The speedy Eastern Ranger defender surged in the first round contention despite being overlooked for Vic Metro's selection mid-year. Taylor was a consistent figure for the Premiers, playing 17 of the possible 19 games, and being mentioned amongst his side's best on 9 occasions. So quite a good Talents League coat series. So, and also being overlooked for Vic Metro. So yeah, early on. So yeah, Vic Metro could have easily used this guy earlier and would have maybe helped them, be better than where they were this year. Obviously South Australia undefeated, Vic Country coming in the second. So yeah, but we'll continue on. For his efforts, Taylor claimed a second place in the Rangers' best and fairest, and is one of the most handful of prospects for the region, likely to be selected in the top 20. So yeah, it comes back on rather than being his junior career, where Taylor turned out only 5 times as a bottom age player last year, having debuted in round 15. His role was a role player but turned into a genuine star this year following his bottom age year. So just touch wood on that. He was picked 15, so he was within the top 20. Eye-catching type of play and daring style on the rebound, and had the potential to recognized with a state combine invite that was soon upgraded to a national combine call-up and promoted alongside with teammate and fellow Boulder Sylvan Roby. So we talked about him earlier in the Essendon draft chats. It was one of the high draft picks that Essendon picked up. And so Taylor showcased his speed and deliver to have 2 top 10 results, including the quickest 20-metre sprint. So he's the fastest player in over 20 metres from the sprint. And also the time of 2.8 seconds. So 2.823 seconds. So to break that down into the millisecond part. So quite good, fast, speed. But yeah, it's, those sort of traits are good like on paper. It's just whether he can use the ball. Obviously, he's got good ball skills. But don't forget, he was in, obviously, Vic Metro's side that finished 3rd or 4th. So still touted as a high draft pick. And deservedly so. On paper, he's got good stats. His speed is good. He's obviously got good ball skills. But when I see players like De Hiltz from South Australia's undefeated halfback, why is he not in contention? That's why I had him higher in my draft picks, because like this guy, I'm not taking away anything from this guy. He deserves it. His stats on paper, he's got the quickest over 20 meters. He's still a good player and still deserves to be recognised as that. And that's not taken away from him. It just shows you the teams that won and were undefeated had really good players that just didn't get drafted. That's the point I want to put across. I always will say that even if the roles were reversed, this guy was in the and he didn't get picked up, I'd be saying the same thing. So that's not the takeaway from him. I still think on paper he's a top 20 player. And depending on what sides need, a halfback is what GWS needs. They like that surge and run. That's the type of player they like. They like the orange tsunami. I know that's their saying. They're obviously the orange team. So yeah, that being said, he's perfect position for that team. That's the role that they're going with. So that's why some players end up higher in the draft. And with my draft recap, I was just going, well, my draft sort of top 10 to 30 picks. I was just picking who I thought were the best players. Teams, that's not how it works with teams. Teams pick their players based on what they need. So yeah, that's what GWS went with as one of they see something in this guy. They see him with the run, the quickness off the half back. So yeah, that's who they went with. So his strengths are consistency, dare, defensive accountability, kicking, rebounding, and speed. Improvements, contested game and strength. Oh, look, halfbacks, that's not a knock on the guy. Most halfbacks are not going to be the best contested beasts, and I don't think that's a role that they do. Unless they put some size on and eventually get into the midfield, they need to have a blend of some contested work. Otherwise, they're just not going to get the ball, and they're going to put their body on the line. But doesn't mean that they can be a great halfback, and that's where they play. So, yeah, he has an impressive array of footballing weapons at his disposal. On his skill level, his kicking helps him set apart from the rest. Is what often is considered a dime a dozen with the roll across the halfback. He is trusted with the kick-in duties. So he did the kick-in duties for his side. And also, yeah, he's able to either drive the ball long or adjust with a short, precise kick. Taylor makes a lightning fast decision, and is capable of shifting angles and cutting apart oppositions through the defense. So yeah, him and Jacob Farrow were quite the two halfbacks that went quite high. Obviously, Jacob Farrow went into and Lindsay as well. I don't want to forget Lindsay. Lindsay went to West Coast. He arguably was the second best halfback. So yeah, a couple of really good halfbacks, but like I said, the best halfback in the undefeated team didn't get picked up. That's what's wrong with the draft, in my opinion. But that's not taken away from these guys. I think most of the halfbacks will go in the draft because they're the best ball users. They're like the quarterback out of the halfback line. So you need a good player. You need a good runner. So yeah, and he deserves to be up there. So he had obviously the fastest 20-meter sprint, second fastest agility test, so he's been able to bounce around from angle to angle. So at 7.8, that was the time. And also at the National Draft Combine, he was a breed of players who translate those results to on-field, and he's carving up and also daring runs to rebound and allow to start the transitional chains of play from the defensive line. But also finish them with kicking inside the 50, so his rebounding inside 50 is quite good. He often takes off immediately, backing the raw pace to lose opponents. And that conviction sees him extremely hard to tackle, dazzling opposition, putting them on the back foot. His running power makes him a dangerous playmaker. Also to break the lines with consistent motion, and he also does well to find space ahead of the ball and is a trusted distributor of the ball and has a variety of disposal at hand. While most players of Taylor's strength and flashiness, the Eastern Ranger player is far from that. He was consistent across all 17 Coates Talent League outings this year, reliably playing his role and worrying the opposition. Taylor provided a defensively accountable way of playing and adopting a new high line where he could intercept bravely in the air. So he had some of those traits to him. He competed for the loose ball. He was also his attacking instincts and also defensively minded and defensive first. Despite being capable of the one-on-one battles, improvement will still need to continue in his contested game. As I mentioned, it's not so much of a problem, but it will be if he wants to play midfield. He won 72% of his possessions being uncontested, so outside running, linking. That's to be expected with a halfback, although 72% is quite high. It's almost 3/4 of all his touches are running, linking plays, but obviously that's his bread and butter. That's probably where it's going to be. So, yeah, he has the damage to be on the outside and also quite lightly framed. So he's got to, work on and put some weight on and build that strength up. So, yeah, he's to allow more physical pressure and also power will also allow him to do more damaging with the run and the foot skills. So, yeah, kicking longer, more power to get out of those contested possession type players. So yeah, he's also good at decision making and making the process happen with his back line. Also his weapons to aim, to be given each opportunity that sometimes he can run into trouble. Building up his IQ will allow him to make decisions in controlled and more composed areas and operating on one high gear. So so that covers him quite well, but it can sort of run into trouble a bit with possession at AFL level. You're not going to have that time and space, but GWS see something in him. So that's a big wrap for the kids. Pick 15. Quite high in the draft. I wasn't too sure what GWS were looking for. They obviously know that they need a running half back in their lineup. That's what they ran with. So, congratulations to you, mate. You running those times at the combine is very high, and you should be proud of that. So, he's the quickest player. Has quite good skills. I quite like his. I like how he's come out of nowhere. And, obviously didn't get Vic Metro looking at him. I like guys that sort of stand up and they earned their opportunity, that this guy wasn't just given an opportunity. He's had to work hard, and I admire that trait and skill. I think that's important. I think that's a great lesson to learn. And you deserve to be in the top 20 with those sorts of things. If you're not being looked at and all of a sudden you come through and you've played really well, you deserve every bit of credit you get. So, that covers him quite well. So, well done, Oscar Taylor. So, pick 51, Finn Davis. We're going to talk about you, mate. And he also is another defender, standing at 188 centimetres. He's a consistent presence down the back line. He also accumulates high numbers of the ball while holding up just as a reliable in the contest. Standing at 188 centimetres, Finn of the Western Jets is a versatile defender and the ability to fill multiple roles in the backline, whether it's playing as a lockdown defender or on the tools that are like the second or third to the mid to the smalls, or also as a running defender, so a running halfback. They can set up the play. So I like that. He's got a lot of versatility down back. Your players are that back pocket lockdown player, play at the half back, or also as an intercepting defender. So he's 188 centimetres. He's probably going to grow a bit more. So yeah, starting his football journey with Williamstown Junior, also known as the Western Football Netball League competition. Davis would go on to win multiple team and league best and fairest awards. He also represented the competition in the inter-league squads in the under 14 and 15 level in 2021. In 2022, representatives saw him catch the eye of the Western Jets program. As a result of that, he was included in the under-16 squad, performed well in both games against the Coal Cannons, Northern Knights, and representatively also appearing in all three of Vic Metro's games at the under-16s National Championships. Davis' season with Williamstown Juniors also seen him managing 17 goals from 9 games, so snapping a few goals. So, running from the half back into kicking goals, so he can even translate as to half forward. So, moving the Western Jets in the under-18 squad in 2024, he would go on to perform well in the first year, giving him a great understanding and preparation for the top age campaign. While his game was more focused on defensively sound settings and skills, he also managed to find the football and also drive the ball from the defensive 50 and into the midfield or foreline. He has had a strong back-end year for 2024, which saw him being named amongst the Jets' best or better players. However, he would miss the last game of the regular season in the wildcard round due to injury. During his bottom major year, he also represented Vic Metro at the under-17s trial game and overall managed 12 appearances for the Jets. Heading in 2025, he spent some time with the local VFL team, Williamstown. In the pre-season is where he had gained a greater understanding of the requirements of playing a high level of football. He also spent further time in the gym to develop his frame and was named in the Vic Metro Summer Hub. So put in that hard work, got the call up, got into the Vic Metro Summer Hub. And after a slow start to the season where he missed the first month and a half due to injury, he returned to the game against the Northern Territory in May and took time to find his groove. He eventually became amongst one of the Jets' most consistent performers. During the season, being named in the best player and the majority of the games that he played. So as the year went on, he got better and better. He was rewarded with consistency by being named in the final Metro squad, where he played the last 2 games, returning to run out his season with the Western Jets. He managed second place finish in the region's best and fairest account overall, and for his 2025 season, that seen him average 27 disposals, 6 marks, 6 rebounds from 50. He was also invited to the National Combine. And he models his game on Bailey Dale of Western Bulldogs. So quite a good running halfback. Very much what GWS are looking for. They've got those 2 types of running halfbacks. There's a clear indication that GWS needed some halfbacks. Adam Kingsley is a smart man. He has looked at this and he's noticed that he needed a couple halfbacks. Obviously, with Clayton Oliver through the trade period, they've got him in as an inside mid. Yeah, he's got a bit of run on the outside too, but they've elected to go with 2 halfbacks, which is that's quite interesting. It's a part that they needed to fix. They've got to add them in. So he also drawn some similarities to Jake Lloyd of Sydney. So there you go, bit of the old GWS versus Sydney. They got a bit of a rivalry. They're the 2 Sydney teams. There's only 2 teams in Sydney, and they don't like each other. So it's a very clash of the 2 teams in Sydney. So the clash of the bridge. I can't remember what they call it now, but they call it something like that. So the 2 teams in Sydney versus each other. So so he also enjoys watching St Kilda star Nasiah Wanganeen Malera. Shout out to your dad, Wanganeen Malera. Played footy alongside him. good bloke, and also Timmy, which would be, your uncle, mate. So, shout out to you two lads. I got a lot of time for those two lads. Just playing footy alongside them guys, and was lucky enough to catch up a lot with them. I would just go down I'd meet them off the train when I was younger and go, just walk to footy together. So got a lot of time for those blokes, and just a quick shout out to you guys. And obviously he likes watching Nasiah Wanganeen-Malera because he is an absolute superstar. And if he can model his game between all those three players, obviously he seems to be more similar to Bailey Dale out of all the three that mentioned. So quite a very good player to mold his game on. And so they've gone with they've gone with a versatile halfback who has a bit of a lockdown skills, and they also got the quickest running halfback. So it's a halfback draft for the GWS. Let's just quickly see what Jake Stringer at pick 59. We know who Jake Stringer is. For those who don't know, Jake Stringer is a player that has had an interesting career. He's gone from obviously starting at the Western Bulldogs years ago, premiership player. They nicknamed the package, your half forward, solid half forward, mid-size, ability to run in the midfield. Sometimes never had the gas tank to play a full time in the midfield, but by God, he had a lot of skill and did a lot of damage across the half forward. Then he sort of had a fallout at the Bulldogs. Then he moved on to the Essendon Football Club, where he had an in and out type of career, sometimes injured, sometimes questionable about his fitness or his professionalism outside, being able to look after your body. Obviously, at AFL level, you don't quite get given the time, and it's a lot of demand on the body, and you got to put in as much effort as you can to maintain a healthy fitness and lifestyle. So Essendon ended up trading Stringer, and he went to GWS. So just last year gone, he was on like a 1-year contract. So they set a pretty high standard for him. So he come in pretty fit this year. Played a few games, had quite an impact for him. It's probably the sort of player that they needed across that half forward line to be under the feet of like players like Jesse Hogan and Riccardi, and quite a solid forward line. And I think adding him in sort of gave him that half forward blend and mix. So they set him quite lofty goals. He needed to be fit. And I thought he did quite good. I think the pre-season he had, I think it was good for him to get out of Melbourne. And obviously with Clayton Oliver coming over, they're going to have two of those sort of players now. They're going to put a hard work into the pre-season. And I wish them all the best. So he got injured last year and had a few, come back and still played. But it's going to be interesting to see if he pushes it hard again this year and has a good pre-season. Hopefully he can stay on the track. So they didn't rookie list him. They had him on the actual national draft, meaning that he'll get national draft wages versus like a rookie wage at 100,000. I think that's what they sort of sit at. And that covers Jake Stringer. There's not much more I can say about the package. I just hope from GWS's perspective and his career perspective, I think he's still on the list for 2 years. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. On the national draft, you'll be on for 2 years. So you still got 2 more years there. And so you play that sort of mid-half forward size role. He's pretty good above his head for his size. He's pretty solid lad for a mid-sized player. can he get fit enough to sort of play in the midfield? Is he going to work hard this pre-season and show that he's worth keeping for those 2 years? They've obviously trusted him. They didn't put him on the rookie draft. They've put him in the national draft. And he's also one of the... You don't see that a real lot, a player of his age getting put into the national draft. So well done, mate, off that perspective. It's something different, and I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, the rookie draft scene pick 9. So that's the next day. Once the national draft's finished, they have the rookie draft. And they relisted Connor Stone. So Connor Stone, he's come back into the lineup. Played a half-forward sort of role. So he... he's just a smaller half-forward, forward pocket type player. Probably can play a mixed bag of roles. He looked quite good in some games this year. He was in and out of the side. He's a bit of a fringe player, so they've seen, they've wanted to keep him around, so they've relisted him on the rookie list, and that covers him quite well. He's played last year, so we're seeing him play and how he plays, and that's sort of his role. And he needs another preseason mate to put a bit more strength and size on. And now we're up to Riley Hamilton, so a Category B player in the rookie draft. And that rounds out GWS. So he's supposed to be a tall forward. Ironically, he's only standing 189 centimeters. He played for the Allies, so his strengths are aerial ability, aggression, agility, and goal sense. His improvements, obviously, his goal kicking accuracy and consistency, boasting an exciting array of highlights throughout the season. Riley Hamilton emerged as one of the Giants Academy's top prospects. So, one of the academy prospects. So, GWS didn't have that many academy prospects. So, it's quite interesting to see that. So, he plays a hybrid forward who's capable as an aerial competitor. So, he plays above his size. For his size, meaning that's how he got the tall forward name. So, he's lethal when the ball hits the ground also. His performances saw him break into the Allies squad as being one of the top announced squad, on top of being announced for the GWS Academy's Player of the Year. So, he got voted their best academy player. The overager impressed, particularly during the national championships, where he kicked 7 goals from his 4 games. So, not bad. Kicked a few goals, consistently at it. He proved to be one of the Allies' most dangerous forwards. He also blessed with canny ability to turn small opportunities into scoring opportunities and making for a high impact per possession rate player. With an extra year of development and 8 total VFL games under his belt, so playing a few games in the VFL, he would be expected to hit the ground running if drafted, considering how dangerous he can be with the ball in hand, and also increase his output and polish up his finishing in front of goal, which at times was erratic. So he needs to work on his goal kicking and his skills for that. Jesse Hogan's worked on his game so much and turned his whole career around, and credit to him and the GWS development around that, and the coaches, and Adams Kingsley and all the men under that work for him. I'd quite like that he's got good skills like that. There's no doubt about that. He can kick a few goals. It's an interesting one. He's the only forward line player they got, so all halfbacks. Oh, and also Connor Stone, that's been redrafted, and Stringer. So they've did a blend of stuff outside get midfielders, which I didn't really need to get a midfielder. We'll talk a bit about the roles. So they're who they cover, but they got Clayton Oliver in the trade period, so they weren't really necessarily looking for a midfielder. And they have pretty good midfield. Yeah, they obviously got Finn, and they got Green as well. So they've got quite good inside midfielders along with Clayton Oliver. So they're pretty stacked within that role. So adding a running halfback in is probably what they need. And like the ability to run and carry the ball. If they needed even an outside midfielder, they can train a couple of these guys up off the halfback and maybe play those roles if they had the size and strength. But I think they're happy. They've nominated those roles that they wanted to find, and they've gone with that and picked the halfback role as an area they needed to work on, and they've got the 2 players they wanted and all the other players that go with it. So that does cover GWS quite well. Yeah, reasonably did pretty well in the off-season. I expect them to play quite well. We'll talk about them in the future fixture chats, and we'll see where they finish up. So I hope everyone has a great Christmas Eve and Christmas. We'll be talking about the Hawthorn Football Club next, and I do have a special guest. It was one of my previous guests. She's a special Hawthorn fan. We'll talk about Hawthorn with her next. So yeah, Merry Christmas everyone, and I hope you have a great one and a safe one. Thank you.